yeah, I mean, a loss like that, especially, you know, a lot of fighters who have that championship mentality like I do, you know, we don't want to feel a loss again. So once it happens, you're going to do everything you can do to not feel it again. And I went into the gym and, you know, I've been just possessed since then, you know, and been different, you know. When you're trying to get to the top, you really need to be inspired, you know. So that just re-inspired me, re-motivated me. Like I said, you know, it's mostly been that mental part, you know, and just pushing myself and not wanting to feel that again. So happy, you know, I get the chance to win the title and do that on the same night. I definitely got to let it motivate you and inspire you. You know, it's the world title, and that's just huge for me. You know, that's like a superpower in itself. Like when I'm training or like having a hard time getting out of bed, or, you know, like a little fatigue sets in, all I got to think about is like world title, you know, and avenging the only loss. And I kind of see myself, you know, winning, and that just like gives me the strength, that little step just to push through. So, you know, I'm not getting too emotional and like caught up with like anger or anything of like, God, I hate this guy and he gave me my only loss. But it's inspiring, you know, and I look at it like, you know, almost like a movie and like a story that can be remembered in history, you know, where he beat me and now I get to go back and, you know, avenge my only loss. And yeah, it's awesome. And, you know, it's the world title. You know, if you're not motivated for that, you know, something wrong.
I mean, it sucks to watch, you know, a teammate, someone that you've looked up to for a long time, lose. But I mean, that's all part of the sport. You know, we go in there and train day in and day out, you know, to win, obviously. But you know, it's not always going to happen. So I mean, it sucks, like I said. But you know, for me, it's just motivation. You know, Aldo's the top. We see how good he is and see what he's got. But it just motivates me to train even harder every day to get in there and get that belt.
You never want to see a teammate lose, especially, you know, such a great guy, even if he wasn't a teammate, such a great guy like Urijah. But you just got to realize, you know, in this sport, you know, Uriah's had, you know, he was a world champion forever. There's guys coming up like Aldo, who's a freak, you know, and, you know, losses are going to happen. And yeah, you know, it just motivates me in the gym too. You know, he's the top guy, the team, you know, he's a world champion. You know, motivates me and, you know, Chad and all the other guys in there to be even hungrier to go out there and represent our team, you know, in our training and all the hard work we put in, and really everything Urijah has done for us. Because, you know, for me, all my success and stuff is kind of a reflection of what he's done for me anyway, you know, because he's done a lot for me.
Urijah and I, actually the only conversation I had with him was on the way to Oakland prior to the Aldo fight. And he talked about cutting weight for college, because we were talking about college wrestling and some of the problems college wrestling is having in the United States as far as funding and things like that. And Urijah, obviously from UC Davis, was talking about supporting that program. And he mentioned to me that he goes, yeah, I used to wrestle at 132, was it, or whatever?
133s.
133s, and I said, well, yeah, but you know, I can tell you that was 10 years ago, bro. And it's probably not the same now. And he's like, no, I could make that cut easy. And that was our discussion. Yeah. You know, our fighters determine themselves where they best, you know, feel best fighting, and I really try to stay out of that.
Well, yeah, we talk about it all the time, you know, especially before he actually, you know, made the decision to do it. But you know, I want the best for Urijah, you know, just like he wants the best for us. We want the best for Chad and our whole team, and you know, that's where he's going to be best. You know, he was fine at 145, but he's always been a 35-pound. You know, that's where he's gonna fight best at. But when he came in, there wasn't a 35-pound weight class. He became the world champion at 145, and you know, no one could beat him. Now that guys can beat him, he's like, all right, I can go down, you know, to my natural weight class. And you know, like Chad was saying earlier, he felt amazing. You know, he was, you know, 2-3 pounds heavier than me on some days, you know, and then he still had that same strength. So you know, it's you know, it's just the best move for him to make, you know. And that's what he wants to do. And you know, I could never see myself fighting Urijah. You know, he's done so much for me. He's like a mentor. I don't want to go in there and try to hit him, and you know, I hope he doesn't want to try to hit me either. So unless we made each other super rich, you know, then maybe.
And the problem with watching guys like this fight on those smaller shows is you really can't tell how good they are, because the other guy pretty much freezes up. You know, and I think he took the other guy down and it lasted like 30 seconds or something, and I was like, okay, he looks like he's okay, but I can't really tell, you know. Obviously when they get into, you know, people ask me that all the time, when they get into the WC or the UFC, the level differences are so high that, you know, guys like Miguel Torres, who never had lost, get into the WEC and they're fighting the world's best guys. And Mike Brown described it perfectly, and it may actually be appropriate for Mike that he said this because of what happened with Manny Gambarian. He said the difference between winning is this and that. He said that's how good these guys are that I'm fighting.
Yeah, definitely. This is definitely the toughest fight that I've faced so far. Cub's a awesome guy to fight. You know, it's an honor. You know, he's been in the sport for a long time. He's fought some of the top guys. Got some great wins on his record. He's scrappy. You know, the guy loves to stand up and brawl. But you know, he's a brown belt on the ground, so he's got great submissions. You know, but I think this is going to be a great win on my record. You know, I've trained hard and I've prepared. You know, I get to train with guys like Benavidez and Urijah Faber, Danny Castillo, you know, every day. So, you know, I think that our game plan is solid, and you know, I think I'm going to go out there and show everybody what, you know, I'm here to do.
The WEC pay-per-view in Sacramento was an absolute success. I mean, the fights were just phenomenal. I was so proud of the guys, the fighters, which is really at the end of the day what, you know, us three really look at. Is it's not really our thing, it's like how the fighters doing. Our goal at WEC is to, you know, find the next BJ Penn, man. You know, that's what we do every day. It's like Dana said, it's gonna be hard to compete against us because we do this shit every day, 7 days a week. I'm just like him. I'm watching tape. I love watching fights. You don't have to force me to go to a fight. I go to the amateur fights in Vegas. I go to the smaller shows. I watch it on YouTube. I set up the direct TV at the office to record stuff when there's fights on there so I can come in at lunchtime and watch them because they won't put a TV in my office.
For that exact reason.
Yeah. But my point is that we haven't had trouble getting them recognized, and I think with guys like Shane Roller, Anthony Pettis, you know, and Ben Henderson and Jamie Varner, Donald Cerrone, and these guys, I really actually am quite happy with the recognition we're getting.
Of course, I want to fight at 35s and become the champ there. You know, that's what's going on right now, and I get to eat more and, you know, live a better quality life. You know, when I'm 135, I can eat 5 bowls of cereal before I go to bed. You know, and not worry about it. So, but if it comes down to it, you know, and you know, there's a 25-pound division. You know, of course, I wanna win the belt in that too. And you know, whatever happens with our team, you know, of course, we're all in the same weight class. If that's the right move to do, you know, I can do that too. You know, I got a long time in this sport, but you know, right now, of course, I love the 35-pound division. I love all the fighters in it. You know, some great matchups.